Welcome back, everyone, to our second episode of the Tickets for Two podcast, where we aim to provide our unique insights on films and TV shows. All right, Santi, what are we reviewing today?
Episode 2 calls for a sequel. Episode 2 of our show, and it's going to be Sonic the Hedgehog 2. What do you think about that?
Sonic 2, the ultimate kids movie that I feel like actually hit the mark for being an adult movie,
like
too.
Decent adult, adult movie. Too.
It's pretty decent. I think it's well worth talking about, especially right now. But all right, let's get right into it. What I want to start off and saying real fast is I love how this Sonic movie has beat two superhero movies in its time. The first Sonic movie that came out, it was able to beat the box office numbers for Harley Quinn's Birds of Prey. And this time around, it beat Marvel's Morbius, or we should say Sony's Morbius.
Does Morbius count?
We pretend it didn't exist, but it's there, and we gotta see the numbers, how it kind of fits. That hey, it still beat it.
It still counts. It's such a soulless cash grab. At least Birds of Prey was like decent, but
it was all right.
But you liked Sonic the first one, right?
I like the first Sonic. I think. Well, if we're gonna talk about the first Sonic, we gotta be happy that an entire community bullied an animation studio to fix the Sonic design. I think that is one. Was that?
Yeah, this movie doesn't exist without all that happening. Sonic 2 does not exist. It's not making 71 million in the first weekend. It's not have all the internet talking about it. It doesn't exist without like that horrendous design and leading to all that feedback from fans all across the world.
They did a smart job to showing us what they thought about doing with Sonic first, and we just harassed them until they got it right. But yeah, no, you're right. It would not have happened if it wasn't for that redesign. But what do you think? Did you like Sonic 1?
I actually really enjoyed Sonic 1. I thought it had good adult humor. It had a good story in terms of really focusing on the characters. It felt really grounded to me.
Yeah.
So I'm watching. I'm thinking, okay, it's gonna be some dumb kids movie, but you know, it was really enjoyable. I think James Marsden and Sonic had good chemistry. Jim Carrey was obviously great. It didn't try to do too much. It was perfect timing, not too long, 90 minutes. So it did make me excited for Sonic 2. I was excited to see this movie and see where they'd go with it.
No, definitely. For me, I love how Sonic 1 did perfectly lead up to the sequel. And I think what got me the most at the end of the first Sonic movie was like the original theme played on the piano towards the end of the film. I think that like really resonated with me. I felt that. Oh my gosh, yeah. But yeah, I mean, right away, right when I left the theater after Sonic 2, I thought it was a fantastic movie for this day and age. I think, like you mentioned, the comedy was there, the story was there. I think they could have easily messed this up as a Sonic story.
It could have been bad.
Way bad. But I think they hit it.
Yeah, to me, it's higher highs than Sonic 1, but lower lows. But, overall, you have to look at the subject matter. At the end of the day, it's a Sonic movie. Yeah. What more do you want?
Yeah.
You're not going in here expecting the next Academy Award nominee. It's a Sonic movie. Can you get that right? And I think they got it right. I think they got it right both times. But since we're specifically talking about Sonic 2, I thought, it was more focused on, like, the Sonic characters. The first one was just kind of about introducing like a background movie. This one got into the actual story of Sonic. I don't know what the hell that stuff is, the green jewel or whatever that is.
Yeah, the emerald.
Yeah, and with all the side characters showing up this time, I thought it did a really good job on that. But yeah, overall, bigger sequel, longer. There's more Sonic Universe stuff, but it still has the positives from the first one, where it's good for kids and for adults.
That's a great way to put it. That's a good little review, a little recap right there.
That's it. We're done with the review.
That's it. Well, let's pack it up.
See you next
week. I thought, like, in general, the Sonic 2 intro was perfect. I think a lot of movies can't get right, and surprisingly, Sonic 2 did. I felt like there was no need for a recap of what happened in the previous movie. It just continued, and it flowed so well to where I feel a lot of movies who do sequels, they spend too much time recapping on what happened in the previous one to catch people up. But Sonic 2 did a great job on that. And if
it doesn't treat the audience dumb.
It doesn't, and we don't need to waste more time on that. We're here to see new content, not old stuff. But right away, I love how they brought in the same voice actress that voiced Tails that she did for the video games. I think that was like a great little touch. That's true. Yeah, the voice actress for all the video games that does Tails is in this movie, which I think was the best thing they could have done. I love that.
Cool. I didn't even know the original Sonic games had voice acting.
For like the new ones that came out for like the Wii or even some for the GameCube, yeah, there was definitely a lot of voice acting there.
Yeah. No. What do you think about Idris Elba as Knuckles?
Man, that was an interesting take. I loved it though. It was really, it really does personify Knuckles of who he is, like just this hardened little guy who has all these like pent up emotions and has no outlet to show them. So he's an aggressive little echidna. But I think it was a great choice.
I know who Knuckles is, and I'd heard of Tails, but I didn't really know what Knuckles is like in the games. I'm like, okay, I think he's kind of like a bad guy or something like that. So for me, as someone who's not as familiar with the Sonic universe, seeing what Idris Elba can bring to the character, it's like, okay, he's that kind of, I'm guessing, big tough guy who's kind of like dumb, but also really cool.
He was really cool. I think Knuckles, for like being the main part of the main cast, like we got obviously Sonic, Tails, we got Amy, we have obviously other characters going on, but I think Knuckles is probably the most iconic one, being like the heavy hitter. So for Idris Elba to pick up this role, I think it was just beautiful. I think it really did.
Yeah.
I think it fit pretty well. I think I'm still having a hard time hearing the Jason Schwartz as Sonic. I still feel like that doesn't fit to me. Idris Elba and Knuckles fit, but the voice for Sonic to me still doesn't match up. I can't get around that.
Sound like?
He sounds more of like a
Ben Schwartz, right? I think it's Ben Schwartz, but I don't even know what he's been in before.
Yeah, Ben Schwartz.
He kind of has like this squeaky persona with Sonic. What does Sonic usually sound like?
He sounds more of like a teenager, but not that high pitchy voice that Ben Schwartz tries to do. It's more tough, more serious tone, more gritty. But like they definitely made him more like humorous in this one, which
kiddish, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a comedy, so might as well.
Yeah. So what do you like in this movie? What was it that set it apart from maybe other video game? Because this is technically a video game movie, and most of those suck. But we both enjoyed it. What was it that set it apart for you?
I think the best movie that we could compare it to is probably like the next best video game movie, which was Detective Pikachu. And I just love how they gave these movies their own storylines. Like in Detective Pikachu, we know what happened there, where Pikachu is a Pokemon from being a human, has to find his way, blah blah blah, and it had nothing to do with like the original games, which is really cool. And same with this movie, it was just Sonic just trying to live his life, and he's not running through mazes or going through these hoops and loops. We all know Sonic from those video games, but I love how they gave him a real legit story. Why? What did you like the most?
I thought the movie doesn't take itself too seriously, but sometimes when kids movies do that, they try to act too corny, like it gets a little out of hand. Like there's the dance off scene, which I have some criticisms about, but they know it's dumb and they make it dumb. But we've seen other movies where they do a dance off and they're actually taking it seriously. Like they'll like score them and do all that, but all of a sudden the Russian guy takes his shirt off. He's got like a tattoo of himself doing like a T-pose. It's just stuff like that, and the humor, some surprising like adult humor in this movie. I don't know if you caught some of the jokes that Jim Carrey was making, but it was stuff like that. And then Tails and Knuckles really kind of bringing it together. Good chemistry with Sonic. I know they're just like CGI cartoons, but it's easy to mess that stuff up. Yeah. But like I said, it was enjoyable. I was never really bored.
That's exactly what I said to myself too. Like I felt like I was constantly engaged. I was never really bored as well. But you had a problem with that dance off scene.
We'll get there later. It's not like a real problem, but I just to touch a little now. I felt like I tried to copy the bar scene in a sense from the first one. Like I guess it was like two unknowns walking into a bar.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was funny, but I thought they could have done a little more with Tails and Sonic's chemistry in that scene instead of it just turning into like a musical.
Right. Right. Okay.
It was hilarious though. It was funny. Like I said, I don't mind. It's a kids movie. What am I gonna say? You know.
We can't be too harsh on a kids movie. That is true.
I probably am.
And that's fine. That's fair. That's totally fair. We're gonna dive right into everything about it. Like we're expecting that anyone who listens to this has already seen the movie. So whatever we say, it's all free range from here. But
yeah, fair warning. Spoilers.
Yeah,
as always.
Definitely. As always,
we're jumping in.
I think what worked for me really well, aside from all things, we'll hop into this later, but that supersonic, the introduction towards the end of the film, I think that's all we needed to see in a live action Sonic movie. So that worked for me. I think all the fan service that was done for this film was amazing. It's all we needed as well, is just hearing the ringtone of the classic Sonic theme, the classic Sonic poses that he would do. But yeah, even the meme. I don't know if you caught the meme that it was in the movie. Like there's this classic like Sanic is what they call it, SANIC.
Yeah, I've heard of that guy, but I heard the meme, but I didn't see it. I didn't notice it in the movie. Where was that?
Yeah, it was when Sonic was trying to pretend he was home, and then like sitting on the beanbag chair when the guy walked in.
Yeah.
And then when the magazine fell from his hands on like the basketball or whatever, it was drawn the face of the meme, which I think was pretty funny, pretty spot on.
You can tell that the people who made this movie, even if they weren't Sonic fans before, they did their research. They weren't just like, it's just, let's make a lot of money. They went in, and with stuff like this, you kind of have to throw in fan service. That's what it's all about. And I'm not a Sonic guy, but I can just tell from all the references that you've listed and I've seen online, they definitely did their research on this.
They definitely did. They went deep. You can tell because there's even like one reference is the bed that Sonic sleeps on is like that little race car bed. If you noticed, that is only something that you were able to find in like the old Sonic comics. Like there used to be comics about like Sonic's life, his daily life here and there. And the bed that he'd sleep on is iconically a race car. Like they don't show that in the video games. They don't show that in in anywhere else. So the fact that they found that shows the testament of how deep they went to give us what we wanted.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot of work.
How do you feel about the animation of this movie? I felt like it was pretty incredible. I think the way that all the characters seamlessly felt, combined into the movie, I think it was pretty well made.
Yeah, the characters are good. There was some spotty CGI in the snow scene up in the mountains, but the characters themselves, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, they all look great. And I love the fact that they just look like video game characters popped in as 3D. There's no... we talked about it earlier. There's no need to make them look realistic or different. Just make them look like what they look like. And just throw them in there.
Oh, definitely, and that's one thing that I was reading about is how the director, he was actually given the notes from the studio saying that they wanted to make Sonic look as realistic as possible in the real world, and apparently he had problems with that. He didn't want that, but the studio pushed for it, and that's what we got in Sonic 1 that we all thankfully fought against.
Right?
Yeah, but no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. Did you like Jim Carrey in this one? Because I loved him in the first one. Mm-hmm. It was a breath of fresh air. Mm-hmm. It was Carrey. It was old Carrey, like from The Mask. He was having fun. You can tell. Did you like him in this one too?
So it's funny. So like I'll kind of jump into the things that didn't work for me when it came to this movie. But I actually have that written down right here. Is I think Jim Carrey tried too hard to have his Mask or Ace Ventura persona. Maybe. And I feel like in this one in particular, in my opinion, I don't think it really worked. I think if he just, I don't know how he could have been any different. Maybe more maybe more serious about it. I know it's like, again, a
Right.
kid comedy movie, but at the same time, he's like the big baddie, and for him to
Exactly.
do all these, like, I guess as an adult watching this, seeing him do all these wacky kind of, you know, like movements and like these arm positionings and like the way he talks, it's like he's trying to be, you know, the old Carrie that it worked in the first film, but to me, not in the second one.
Yeah, and the first one is just kind of like, oh, this is cool, this is fun. And I think even in the second one, he acted his chops off. Like, he did a great job acting.
Oh, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, he's doing what the director tells him to do. Or maybe
Yeah.
the director gave him free reign. I don't know. But it was a little too much, and maybe they could have leaned a little bit more into him. Because in the beginning, in the first one, he's a little more serious at first.
Yeah.
He makes some little quips here and there, but he's more serious. And in this one, it's all jokes, all fun and games. Still enjoyable, but it's not as refreshing as it was in Sonic 1. I also wanted to ask you, did you like the story? Because the first one doesn't really have a story. They're just running away from Dr. Eggman,
Yeah.
and Sonic and Donut Lord are bonding.
Donut Lord.
There's no story. There's no real plot.
I definitely like the story for the second one way better this time. I think when you bring in obviously Knuckles, and the whole story eventually becomes that, you know, Sonic's people, you know, did his people wrong, then you have the necessary components for a decent story. He wants to avenge his tribe, and Sonic doesn't even know what's happening. So it's just just a battle between someone's moral mission to someone who has no idea what's going on. So I think it was a perfectly good story. It's your classic kind of kids tune, but I liked it. What do you think of the story?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
In terms of what it can be, I thought it could have leaned a little bit more into the details of the story. You mentioned Knuckles and his tribe. There was some flashback scene on that, but it didn't really get too much into it. And that's what I mean. Like, and we can kind of jump into some things we maybe didn't work for us as well.
Yeah.
Is you got 2 hours of movie. How much time do you want to dedicate to each character and each storyline? Because
Right.
I'll say this: the human characters are fine, but this movie can honestly just lean into all the Sonic people and his friends, and it would still be a good movie with good characters. So a lot of that screen time, I feel like, from developing Sonic and Tails' relationship to kind of more between Sonic and Knuckles on the past and the lore and that sort of thing. We could have seen more, but we got some really unnecessary human stuff.
Oh my god, yeah. Like we could even talk about that, because I have a lot to say about the unnecessary human stuff.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you turn this movie on, if you just walked into the theater halfway in, and you see James Marsden getting spiked in the face with a volleyball, you'd be like, okay, this is like some cheesy rom-com that maybe like my girlfriend would want to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, it's in a Sonic movie. It really had nothing to do with the film. I just couldn't believe it. It's like, I'm going into spoilers now.
Go for it.
So they're basically like, I'm thinking like, okay, there's something up with this, like the guy who was marrying the sister-in-law. Like, something up with this guy. What's it gonna be? Oh, he's a secret agent. Oh, they're all secret agents. Like, it was kind of like, okay, I see it. They tied it in, but it played no further role in the film. That was it. It was like there was some Bridezilla thing. He got run over, and that was it. The CIA people didn't show up anymore in the film. It was so pointless, and you think that just shave that 20 minutes off, make this as lean and mean as the first Sonic. I really don't know. I guess that was like stuff for like adult humor or something like that. Did you enjoy that wedding subplot?
God no, not at all. I definitely have that right in my notes. Like, as I was watching the film, I had to pull out my notes and write this down. That I feel that those, like, the whole scene between like the whole Rachel and like her sister were trying to save Sonic. That did not need to happen. That little rescue mission they tried to go after.
But it wasn't even a rescue mission. Like, I'm so confused. Like, what even happened? Like, she got that Tails device,
right?
And
like
then
from the little backpack.
Sonic's free anyway. I don't know. Like, Sonic was freed himself or something like that. It was just kind of like That was it. Like, what was the point of this scene?
You know, it was meant to be like the comedic relief, although there was like plenty more ways they could have done it. Maybe it was like in their contract that they needed to be, a certain amount of screen time, but it did not work.
I didn't think it was bad if it was its own movie, not related to Sonic. Like, here's a random rom-com about some shady future brother-in-law guy. Like, okay, this is kind of like interesting, but it's like when it's related to Sonic and there's no tie-in. They tried to tie it in, but it didn't work at all. It was it was totally pointless. And I think something else related to that is because James Marsden's character was off in Hawaii for this wedding. I thought what made Sonic 1 so good was like their chemistry and them spending time together. It's kind of like they just kind of jumped the boat, and now it's like the Sonic and Tails show, which I get it. It's more like the games and all that, but I think it would have been cool to see the three of them on like doing missions and that sort of stuff.
You see, like, to that, I would kind of disagree. I think that was the beautiful way to go towards this movie, because in the first one, it was all about Sonic being by himself and having no friends, right. and he didn't know what to do, so then he made a friend. Then then they became close buddies, and I feel like this second movie was him growing up and learning to do things on his own. I felt like he had his, someone walked his hand the whole time, but now he could do things on his own. So it was more like growing up to me. I like that.
Yeah, I see that. That's a good point. But in the end, like, what happened in the end? They just kind of adopted them both, right?
Pretty much. Now they have a whole family of aliens, apparently. Alien animals.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, I that's actually a really good point about the growing up and all of that. But then in the end, they just kind of, like, wind up as all their kids. Maybe, like, Sonic should have just moved out and done his own thing in some hole with, that sounds so wrong, with back in his old home in the forest with Tails.
To me?
But no, I see your point with that.
Yeah, to me, I feel like, I think at the end of the second movie, I think Sonic still doesn't have his own family yet. I think he's still clinging on to, like, Rachel and the Donut Lords, we'll call them. I think he's still hanging on to them because, like, that's all he knows. But now that Tails is in the mix, now that Knuckles is back, and they're all from pretty much the same world, I think Sonic is starting to realize, like, oh, wait, maybe my life is not with, humans. Maybe it's going to be with these people. And my prediction is that in the Sonic 3 movie, which is already confirmed, it's confirmed. But I think we're going to be introduced to, new characters like Amy, and obviously,
Who's Amy?
Amy is that pink hedgehog that I think, is always constantly in love with Sonic, but Sonic wants nothing to do with her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think once we start getting introduced, like, these other new Sonic characters, I think Sonic's gonna eventually go that direction and be like, oh, like, goodbye, thank you for,
goodbye
being
humans.
There. Yeah, bye humans, thank you for everything.
They're just not gonna be in the movie anymore.
That's how I feel.
I feel like they just can't help it. They just can't help it. Like Hollywood, it's like anything they make. They gotta add the whole real world element when it comes to, like, these kids movies. They just have to add it. They did it with Detective Pikachu stuff.
Yeah.
In the opening scene in that one, I feel like even in this one, like, it was fine in the first Sonic movie. Like, it made sense. But it's like either go in one direction or the other. Don't have, don't, like, split them up in, like, 3 different storylines. Like I said, not a huge deal. It's a kids movie, but you would have thought someone would have been like, do we even need this stuff in the movie? Maybe you're right. Maybe it is contractual. And, like, what's funny? What would keep adults in their seats? Okay, maybe it's this stuff.
True, yeah, and especially for, like, all the adults that are watching who are there for their kids that probably also, like, never grew up with Sonic. They don't know what's happening. So having that human element to have them be relate. That was you. That was you. Yeah, to have that little human element.
What's going on.
And that's fine, but I'm sure,
I had
like,
no idea.
Did you be able to catch on though, right? I feel like if someone like you walked into a theater to watch a movie like this, you don't need any background. Like, you don't understand who's who, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I knew who Knuckles was. I didn't really know who Tails was. It's fine. It's just a kids movie. You don't have to overthink. It's like, oh, look, it's an alien bad guy, but then he becomes a good guy in the end.
When you're a Sonic fan like me, you look into it. You go deep.
Yeah. Sonic is just like a bad version of Mario, the games, I feel like.
Oh, man. You're going to... Oh, that's a hot take right there.
Nah, I mean, I've played like maybe 5 minutes of Sonic, like, long time ago. Did you like Tails's? We all knew Tails was gonna. I know enough. I knew Tails was gonna become a good guy in the end.
Yeah.
Did you like his arc going from Jim Carrey's Stoogeman?
Oh, you mean Knuckles? You mean Knuckles?
Knuckles. What did I say? Tails.
You said Tails.
Yeah. Did you like Knuckles' turn from a bad guy to a good guy?
Yeah, I think that was also kind of natural too. It wasn't like a forced sort of decision to me. I feel like what Knuckles did is he kind of realized to himself, like, oh, this guy's kind of crazy. Like, the Sonic has the right idea. I think that sort of change internally is what's pretty cool. It's not like, like, what would you say? Like, as if Eggman, killed someone of Knuckles' family, then he wants revenge. No, it was Knuckles internalizing his current situation and realizing, who is the real bad guy. So I liked it. Why did you think it? Did you think it any different or what?
No. I liked the scene they had on the beach after they. Like I said, it's kind of corny. It's just 2 CGI animated hedgehogs or echidnas, whatever, talking to each other. But it was a really well done scene. Like.
Yeah,
it was a good, like, hey, you saved my life. No, you saved yours first, and they kind of talked and bonded, and then after that, they were on the same page. I thought that was really well done to show that turn by Knuckles,
which I think was very important to have also, because we already knew that they were going to be friends, but how did they? Yeah. So I like the way they did it.
Definitely. And what about the final scene? So you got. Jim Carrey gets or I guess I should say Dr. Robotnik gets all the, I don't know, if Infinity Stones or something, and then he creates some big robot monster. I'm guessing that's from the games, and they fight. How did Sonic go? What did you like that the climax of this movie? The supersonic and all that.
Oh my god, that tickled my heart. I think that was the most incredible thing to ever witness, because I did not. The moment the movie introduced the Chaos Emeralds, I was like, "There's no way they're gonna give us supersonic this quick, this early." I didn't think so, because every Chaos Emerald still gives them powers. So while I was watching the movie, I was thinking to myself, "Oh, all they're gonna do is make Sonic hold like one emerald." Maybe get the power from that, fight him, win, and we'll get Supersonic, in the third movie. So when they showed Supersonic do his thing, yeah, that's I don't know what to say. I felt like I was a 10-year-old kid all over again. I love that.
Yeah. So what is the Supersonic? He grabs the jewel and that gives him the powers.
Yeah. So when all the Chaos Emeralds come together, the holder of it gets. Like a boost in power. So yeah, it's pretty much like collecting all the Infinity Stones.
But that wasn't all of them, right? It was just one, I thought.
That was all of them. So he had one big one, the Chaos Emerald, and then it broke. One. Yeah, and it shattered in his hand, and it turned into all the little ones. I think there's like 7 or 8 of them. Yeah, and then
so that's part of the lore in this game.
The lore, yeah.
Lore. It's like the Elden Ring. The Elden Ring shattered. Different topic, but
different topic for a whole different podcast.
A whole different show coming out next week. No, that's interesting. Yeah. Did you think it was weird that Sonic didn't save Dr. Robotnik's life? Like he just kind of watched him fall.
Wow. No. Weird. Yeah. Now that you say that, he did kind of just witness a murder.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't die, right? Because they didn't find his body in the end.
Yeah, so we know he's going to come back. But who's going to come back? Because the news is Jim Carrey did an interview where he announced his retirement of acting. He says he's done. He did everything he's wanted to do. So who knows if he's going to actually come. Back. I mean, he needs to come back. He needs to.
Yeah, he'll come back. But the character was alive because in the end they were searching the rubble, like the CIA people, the Olive Garden guy. By the way, I kid you not. The day after I saw Sonic 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Swear on my life. The next day I went to Olive Garden. Completely unintentionally.
Did you get the motivation from the movie? It was subconsciously the motivation.
I had no plan. I've been to Olive Garden once in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Day after I see this movie, I go to Olive Garden. Unbelievable stuff.
Did you get the never-ending pasta bowl? Did you get that?
I did. I think they have a never-ending breadstick in the salad one. I haven't seen the pasta one. Is that something else? To be honest, it's a scam because it's like there's so much food, you're never gonna get more than one serving unless you're sharing with people. So.
Not only that, but the breadsticks are also a scam. Even if you go for 2 people, they give you like 3 breadsticks. Like they purposely want you to fight for the third one, and they don't come back with more.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, we just share. I just got some like shrimp thing, and then it was enough. It was enough. But yeah, there was some other in movie advert. There was a big Oreo scene in the early in the movie, just right up in my grill. Thin Oreos. And all that.
No.
I wish they wouldn't. Yeah.
This movie.
They mentioned Olive Garden again in the second one. That's what killed me. I couldn't believe it. Like they did it again. It's like Jesus Christ.
This movie was heavily, I would say, funded by product placement. It was everywhere. Yeah. You couldn't escape it.
It was. I guess it's like that stuff doesn't bother me that much, but it's man. The first one it was really in your face. The Olive Garden gift card. They did it again in the second one, which was surprising.
When you're there, you're family.
Yeah, when you're there, that guy is pretty good. He's pretty funny. I've seen him in other movies, but I thought like let's talk low-key.
Yeah.
Most underrated performance in the movie, without a doubt, in my opinion, is Dr. Robotnik's henchman guy.
Oh my God, you like that guy? Was it Agent Stone? You liked him?
That guy cracks me up.
Man, I'm a big fan. I was not a fan of him.
Oh, every scene that guy's in, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be hilarious.
He had his moments, I'll give you that, but I think for the most part, I think he tried to be a mini Jim Carrey, and I did not like that at all.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I don't know. I just did not like the way he acted.
Oh, I just liked how hard he simped for Dr. Robotnik.
That's true. Yeah, he was a huge simp for him, making his oat milk lattes.
Yeah, well, come on. How was that? I thought it was great. But
you're right.
That's another side plot they had was the cop and then him, and it's like, what is this stuff?
But like we mentioned, I think any sort of CGI animated film has to have the human factor. Like even if we talk about like Godzilla, the first one,
yeah,
like that one was like we were just wanting a fight with Godzilla and the kaiju. We get this unnecessary like hour-long movie of humans. So you gotta have that no matter what.
You have to have it.
In general, what did you think about the comedy in this film?
I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was cringeworthy. For me personally, I thought a lot of the humor, there were some good adult jokes in there. It's not as funny as the first one, where I laughed out loud a few times, but overall, it's a lot better than most kids' movies I've seen, especially most video game movies. It's not too much slapstick. Did you like it, or do you think it was too cheesy?
I think it fell a little flat most of the time. I love how it was still like adventurous and like you said, there's some adult humor in there as well. But for the most part, I think the comedy kind of fell flat. Like there was like even the intro scene where like Sonic is trying to throw the missiles away and gets stuck in his hair. Like okay, haha.
Oh
funny,
yeah, I tuned out. I was like, ah.
Right, and then like
the intro scene of it. Yeah.
You didn't like it?
Yeah, it was all right.
See that's what I'm talking about. Like that comedy at the beginning of it kind of like made me cringe a little bit. And there was another scene that I can remember vividly. It was towards the end of the film when when Sonic still has the power of the Chaos Emeralds. He's like summoning like some cloud thing.
Oh yeah.
And like a chili dog falls.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, why? It's like, and then like people are laughing in the theater. I'm like, really? Was that really funny?
Oh. Yeah, it's like fan service, I guess. And like, it's like the chili dog. Bet you didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's just part of like the kid stuff. It doesn't want to take itself that seriously. I didn't know Sonic and chili dogs was a thing. I remember the first one. Yeah. There was a fart joke about it.
Uh-huh.
And then I was looking online. People were like, oh, are there chili dogs in the movie? I'm like, what do you guys mean? Is this like an actual like Sonic thing? But
yeah, it's a Sonic thing. Like, yeah, it's definitely a Sonic thing.
I'm gonna go buy a chili dog tonight. I'm craving chili dog.
They didn't have those at Olive Garden when you went?
No chili dogs at Olive Garden.
Oh, they should have had a promotional special.
They gotta get some chili dogs in Olive Garden. I don't want shrimp
Yeah.
Alfredo next time.
But I mean, in general, I mean, I felt like. Oh, did you watch for the end credit scene? I want to jump to that real fast. Did you watch that?
Gonna be honest, I didn't until I YouTubed it.
No.
I YouTubed it
Okay.
after.
So you know what they teased.
I do, and you know what it is? I don't know anything about Sonic Universe, but I've seen that guy before.
Shadow the
Shadow
Hedgehog.
character.
Yeah.
I have seen him.
Yeah, Shadow to me is like one of my favorite characters, especially in Sonic in general. I remember back in like the young days on the GameCube even, there was like a Shadow the Hedgehog video game, which was like the most fun thing to ever play on the GameCube.
Is that where he's from originally?
Oh, he's from the series in general. Like he was always like that character in the background that you rarely see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I don't know how to equate him to, but he's just like he's like that really really cool character that people just wanna always see in action, but they just tease you a little bit. No, Knuckles is always there. Knuckles is always there. Yeah.
But Shadow's the cool. Let's do the cool rankings. I know Tails is on the bottom of the cool rankings.
True.
Maybe I'm wrong on that.
No, you're right.
I feel
no.
like Tails ain't that cool. He's
Tails,
likable, but he ain't.
he's definitely down there on the tier list.
So we go Shadow,
Is number 1.
Knuckles,
Yeah.
Sonic, and then Tails.
And then
is there
Tails,
anyone
yeah.
else I'm missing?
Well, of the main cast, that's all you need to know. But yeah, I feel like all the other characters you don't need to know about. Well, the list that we made is pretty much spot on. I think Tails deserves to be at the bottom. Sonic being as iconic as he is, which he's super iconic because like I think like Sonic is one of those characters where like studies were done where if all you do is present like a silhouette or like a rough sketch of Sonic.
Oh yeah.
Like he's easily recognizable. He's one of the most
Everyone knows
recognizable
Sonic.
characters. Everyone does.
I don't know what it is. Like I guarantee you most people haven't played the games. I mean, I had played them a long time ago when I was a kid, but everyone just knows who Sonic is. He's up there, probably in the top 5 most recognizable video game characters.
Who would you say is the next? I feel like obviously we have Mario, Pikachu. Who else would you say?
Mario.
Like
Mario's got to be top.
oh yeah, I'd say that.
Mario's got to be top. Yeah, in general, it was well put together, especially with the Tails and Knuckles and all those characters. Like I've seen them before. Like you're saying about how recognizable. I've seen them before.
Right.
And,
Did you know what they did before the film? Like, did you know like what their powers were or where they came from? Did you know any of that?
You know, I actually have a Knuckles toy from when I was a kid. I think I got it from like I swear to God, I'm
a McDonald's Happy Meal.
It's like from a fast food restaurant in Belgium.
Oh wow!
I was visiting family in Belgium a long time ago, and I guess there was something related to Sonic there. It was like a Happy Meal for like I don't know, but I just remember I have a Knuckles toy somewhere. I'm gonna look for it.
And when you do, we got to post that picture on our Instagram, by the way, which we now have up. Yeah, that's true. Like if you want to look it up, our Instagram is Tickets for Two Podcast. You could easily find that on Instagram, so make sure to follow us if you want to see Santi's Knuckles toy that he got in Belgium.
If you can't find the IG, just send us a fax.
There we.
We'll try to get to you. But I had no idea what their powers were. Like Tails, I'm like, okay, why is his name Tails? I'm like, oh, okay. Helicopter guy. Get it.
And it's funny enough, his full name is Miles Tails, because he could travel miles.
I looked him up, and it was what's his last name?
Miles Tails. He had a last name. I thought Tails was his last name.
No, he has a last name. I gotta find. It's Miles Tails Prower.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, you're right.
Miles Prower. It's like it sounds like like we'll say like Robin, and then it's like Robin or Nightwing played by like Tim Drake, like this version of Robin, and then it's like it's just Tails. It's Sonic the Hedgehog. It's Knuckles the Echidna. Why is it Miles Prower, otherwise known as Tails? Why does he have a human name? It's so weird.
You're right. I don't know. Maybe because he's a fox and he's on the prowl. I don't know. But another thing I don't know is what is Tails' gender, because he sounds like a girl. But I don't know if they refer to him as like a he.
It's a he.
Okay.
I looked it up because I wasn't sure either.
we don't need
the
to
voice
know.
actress is like you said, it's the original.
Yeah.
I just looked her up. Colleen O'Shaughnessy. I don't know if I'm saying her
O'Shaughnessy?
last
Yeah,
name right.
O'Shaughnessy.
O'Shaughnessy. But yeah, when I look at all the articles about Mr. Miles Prower, it's a male. Yeah. It's a he.
Okay. All right. Well, with all that put together, let's get to what we score this film. So, out of 5 tickets, what do you score this film?
Sonic 2
Yeah.
builds upon the universe we saw in Sonic 1. It's got better moments, bigger moments, but it's also a little draggy at times, a little slow, and sometimes falls into the cliche of kids' movies. But overall, I enjoyed it. I think if you like the first one, you'll like this one too.
Okay.
Probably like it more if you're a big Sonic fan. For me, it's going to be 3 tickets out of 5. Just for reference, I gave the first one 3.5. So this one's a 3 out of 5.
Very, very good. Yeah, well, I think when I was an hour into the film, I remember telling myself that the comedy was falling a little flat, but I still loved the animation. I loved how adventurous it was,
Yep.
and the movie was definitely kicked off to a good start. Seeing the trio all together, the Knuckles, Tails, Sonic, was the fan service that everyone loved and expected. All the Easter eggs were. It felt like it was you're hunting for eggs on Easter in general.
Lots
Like,
of them.
It was lots of them
And Easter's
everywhere.
coming up.
And definitely, it's perfect for that. And I never felt bored. I always felt engaged. Although there was a bunch of kids laughing in the theater, I still caught myself giggling and chuckling. So it really got to me. And although there was little choppy scenes with the green screen and the CGI, like you mentioned, in the mountains or sometimes even like in Hawaii, I think all in all, I give this 3 tickets out of 5 tickets. I agree. It's a very, very fair score, but at the same time, I think it still is on par with one of the best video game movies out there.
Exactly. Yeah. And let's talk about that just for a second now that we go into our scores. Overall, these 2 Sonic movies compared to other video game movies that you've seen, what do you think? Are they the best you've seen, or have you seen anything better?
I think the best that I've seen. I think Detective Pikachu, like we mentioned earlier, it was a good film. Definitely did not like the chemistry between the kid and Pikachu.
Bad acting in that movie all around.
Very bad acting. I think like the CGI there was also way too forced to feel realistic. Like seeing Charizard look like a lizard. I was like, nah. Yeah, like that doesn't work well at all. So I think in comparison of all video game movies, this one definitely is number 1 on that pedestal. I really like that. What about you?
Yeah, in terms of the ones I've seen off the top of my head recently, Tomb Raider, Detective Pikachu, Uncharted, the recent Mortal Kombat one.
Oh, God.
I think Sonic might not have been my favorite, but I think it's the one that accomplishes its goals the best out of all of those movies. It's like a competent kids movie, and I think at the end of the day, that's what counts. That's what really matters. And I'm into the universe now. You know, I don't love it, but I'm not thinking about it every night I go to sleep. But when Sonic 3 comes out, I'm gonna be interested in Sonic 3.
Right. Oh, there we go. See, now we have a new Sonic fan coming out of this series. Yeah, I love it. We love it. But I think that's all we have today, unless you got some final thoughts to say and wrap this up.
That's it. Thanks again for joining us. Hope you enjoyed this review. Please let us know any feedback you may have for us. As you may have noticed, we do have 2 lovely sets of brand new mics that we were using for this podcast. So I hope the audio quality was a lot better. But thanks again. And hope you enjoyed Sonic 2 as much as we did.
Yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Really appreciate you tuning in again for our 2nd episode of the Tickets for 2 podcast. Again, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Santi.
And we appreciate you. See you again in the next one. Bye-bye.
All right.